Welcome friends to Farm Fresh Designs 59. In today's video, I've got some Christmas projects that I can't wait to show you and some super exciting news to share with you in just a few minutes. But let's go ahead and get started. Now this is a little wooden tag that I've painted with Rust-Oleum chiffon cream. And then the little stamp I'm putting on with black stays on ink is from the IOD Merry and Bright. And it's just some script writing. Now, the little piece of decoupage paper has a beautiful red bird on it, and it's within a lot of like holly and Christmas greenery. And so I am putting that down with the Pentart decoupage varnish, which is some stuff I started using and I really like it. So I go ahead and put that down, and then I have some resin molds that I actually have left over from last Christmas. But at Christmas, when you're trying to get a lot of Christmas items done for your booth, you tend to go ahead and have things already kind of halfway made up so that it doesn't kind of like eat into your time. And so that particular mold right there is from the IOD Holly Lane. Now, I painted it with Waverly Moss Green, and then I painted the little berries with Waverly, I think it's called Lacquer. It's a really pretty red. And then, because everything's kind of muted, then I'm just using some Voodoo Gel Stain to kind of distress it a little bit. Now, around the tag, I'm just using some Tim Holtz Distressing Ink to kind of like grunge it up just a little bit so it doesn't look so new. Isn't that so pretty? Oh, and look at that precious little bird. And actually, that's going to be going in the mail to my sister. And she's going to be giving it away to her best friend who loves red birds. So, there you go. Isn't that just so pretty? And I just tied a little lace ribbon on it because it can be put on a tree or just anywhere. Okay, now in my last piece, I had a piece of barnwood and I put some decoupage paper on it. And so I had a little bit more of that barnwood. And so this is another red bird. And remember in my last video, I told you that you can also paint the back of the decoupage paper. And then that way you can put it on a dark surface. And I love that method. So I was kind of excited that I did that in the last video. Now this is that same ribbon that I'm using. And I'm just going to staple it on the back. And then I will just be putting some little buttons on it. I'm getting really, really low on my buttons, and I need to go to that place where I get them, but it takes me about 30 minutes, and right now I just don't have 30 minutes to spare between keeping my granddaughters and working on my videos and helping my mom and all that kind of stuff. So sometime I got to figure out how to get down there. And it's just really simple and plain, but it's beautiful barnwood that actually came from my father-in-law's barn. He passed away last February, and we like taken all the wood off the barn, as they've sold the property. So I have me a little stash of barnwood, so I'm super excited about that. So I've got some more things coming up with the barnwood. Okay, now my next project is using some decoupage paper, and it's of a Christmas tree, but it's got some pinks in it. Now, Jonelle with Decoupage Central, she just sent me the PNG of this, and I had it printed off because she didn't have time to get it mailed to me, and I wanted to use this. So, if you get the decoupage paper, it'll be a different quality, and it will be much better. But I work with it like this. And so the little guy at the UPS store, he and we're becoming buddies because it's easier for him to print it off than it is for me to go buy a printer and buy the ink. So now the little wood piece that is over to the left is a little wood piece that I actually bought at Hobby Lobby on the 90% off sale. And it was just one of those little signs, and I painted it with some Fusion paint, and it's called Rosewater. And the reason I am using Fusion paint, I've never used it before, but a viewer told me that they had some little sample bottles on sale, so I thought I'd try it. So that's the color of it. And then that little stamp also comes from the Merry and Bright IOD stamp that I just kind of put up in the right-hand corner. And so I'm just decoupaging that on. And I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom. And then when I was at Hobby Lobby, they had some little glittery ornaments that were in that kind of pinky mauve color. And so, of course, they were on sale. And so I got me a little pack of them, and I added it up to the top just to add a little bit of interest. But I think it's beautiful. And, of course, when my granddaughter walked in this morning, of course, that was the first thing she spotted. Anything that's pink and shiny. We have so much in common. So she likes princesses. I like princesses. We both like shiny stuff. So anyway, I just think it's really pretty. So I'm thinking she's probably gonna steal this if she can get her hands on it. Now, if you're liking this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, go ahead and do that and become part of our family. Now, for the exciting news. If you have not heard, next Tuesday, September the 5th, IOD is coming out with their holiday collection. And you will be able to find a video next Tuesday at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time where I will show you those products and show you some things I've made out of them. So make sure to tune in next Tuesday at 12 o'clock. Okay, so this is another decoupage paper that I got from John L. And oh, I love this Santa Claus. And if you could see up close, he's so funny. His eyes look like he is so tired. And he's holding like a little lantern. And I just think he's so sweet. Now, I was looking for some kind of wood something that I could find at Walmart recently, and I discovered these little wood boxes, and they were 3 in a pack, and I think they were like $12.99, which I really didn't think that was a bad price. And so this is the actual larger one, and so I'm dry brushing it on, and this is the part where it gets kind of hard to film it. Just because of the nature of what this box looks like. Now, because I'm putting that decoupage paper in the middle, I'm going to go ahead and paint the center of that fully. And then I'm just kind of measuring it up to make sure so that there won't be any of that darkness on, on the edges and stuff. Because sometimes you can kind of see if it's not like cream all the way to the end. So then I'm just dry brushing it on, and then I'm going to go on the outside of it as well. And I think you probably have figured out what it's going to be because, well, I made one of these recently, and it was so much fun to make. And so I thought, I think I'm going to do this again. So, yes, it's going to be a shadow box. And remember, last week I made the shadow box with the little snowman. So here's my Santa in my little shadow box. So I'm putting that on with the Pentart decoupage varnish. Now, when you use decoupage paper, it's so much better than copy paper, and it's so rare to get wrinkles with it. Now, when I was working on this, I could not find my little piece of cellophane wrap that I usually kind of press it down with. And honestly, I did find it, but I think on another project I couldn't find it. And honestly, I was just too lazy to get up and go in the kitchen and get me another piece. So I guess this was after I went digging for it and I did find it. So pushing that all down with the cellophane wrap, just to make sure it's all pushed down. And then this is actually some more of that barnwood. So what I want to do is I want to make like a little ledge of it. So I took a piece of it, I measured out how much I needed to go from side to side, and then I went out to my saw and I cut it. And then I cut 2 little pieces because I need to be able to wedge some things in between those wood pieces. And so you'll see it in just a minute. So what I'm going to do with that barnwood is on that first piece, I glued it down with Titebond glue, and I'll let it sit for a pretty good while. Now, this is a mold, and it's so pretty. It's got some little different packages on it, and I made it with resin because I need these to be super sturdy to put in this shadow box. And I'm painting them with Rust-Oleum chiffon cream, and then I want them to be a matte finish, because when you look at the decoupage paper, there's not a shiny thing about it. Plus, because I dry brushed the box, I don't want it to be shiny at all. So I'm not going to put any kind of glossy finish on it at the end. So I get them all painted up, and you're not going to see the back of them, so I don't bother to paint the back of them. Now, the little ribbon or the little bow that's up at the top, well, this is where it gets a little tricky. And this was the Waverly red, I think it's called lacquer paint. and it's a really deep red. So now I'm just going to go around and I'm just painting all the different little bows on the packages. And one of the little packages is plain, and the other two have like a little design on them. So it's kind of tricky, and sometimes, it gets kind of frustrating when you've got something really teeny tiny to paint, and you don't want to mess up and have to go back and touch it up and stuff. But I just always try to remember, it's just paint. You can just paint over it, so it doesn't have to be that big of a deal. So yes, in the course of trying to get these little bows painted, yeah, I did have to do some touch-ups on it, but I think they turned out really pretty. Okay, so I needed them to look just a little bit rustic because of the decoupage paper. And so I'm just using that mix of the two different Voodoo gel stains. One is Tobacco Road and one is Au Naturel. And so I like it because it's not too light and it's not too dark, and it's kind of a really creamy chocolate color. And what I like about these two particular packages that have designs on it is that Voodoo gel stain really picks up that design. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, and this is the hard part that gets kind of hard. Okay, so I'm going to tuck in the trees on the left side. I have, you remember those trees that I was painting a while ago? Well, guess what? Here they are. And I also dry brushed them with white to make them look like they had snow on it. So I'm going to be trying to tuck in that first one and glue those two little pieces of barnwood together really close, and then I'm going to tuck the other ones in. Now, on my last shadow box, I had the little triangle banner that went across, and I could have done that this time, but I didn't have enough of that thin wood, so I kind of had to figure out something else. So this is just a little piece of wood, and I stained it and I dry brushed it on. And then this is another one of those stamps from the IOD Merry and Right stamp set that I'm putting on it. And I actually try to get a lot of ink on it because I'm going to be stamping it onto that kind of barnwood looking finish, and I need it to show up. And so I just hot glue it on up at the top, and it says Merry Christmas. And the font on it is really pretty. Okay, so I have got the trees glued in and the little gift packages glued in, and then what I did was I just put some hot glue down in, and I sprinkled some of that fake snow in it. And I love it. This is my favorite piece. And my son, who doesn't love rustic at all, when he came in this morning and saw it, even he liked it, so I was pretty excited. But look at those little trees. I think they're so pretty. And those came from a mold that's actually not made anymore. It was limited edition. And if you try to buy one right now on Etsy, oh, gracious, you are going to be spending a lot of money. So it's an older one, but it is super popular. So what do you think about this one? Okay, so now I want you to think about something. When you go to the thrift shop, you see these little decorative trash cans, and you're thinking, I don't need another trash can at my house, but Christmas is coming up, and they are great for holding like little artificial Christmas trees. So what I did was I actually painted it with, I think this is Rust-Oleum Linen White. This one's not chiffon cream. I've actually painted it a good while back, and I had it sitting around until I decided what I was going to do with it. Oh, by the way, did you hear that thunder? If you heard that thunder, we're having a storm right now, so I apologize if you hear that in the background. But they say that the weather from the hurricane is going to be coming up tomorrow to North Carolina, so I need to get this done. So these are two pieces of decoupage paper, and I will link those in the description box, and there's one on one side and one on the other. And this is one of just a little faux Christmas tree. So this is perfect for, sitting on the hearth or whatever, but it's just a little trash can that you can use for holding a Christmas tree, or, with fall coming up, if you get one and you put something pumpkin on it, you could sit a little pumpkin on it on top and put some Spanish moss up underneath it, and it would be super cute. But I love my little trash can, and yep, there goes the thunder again. And I don't have any lights or anything on this, but it's just a plain little old Christmas tree. Okay, now I really debated about putting this in the video because I cannot figure out where I had this transfer. It's so old, but it's real pretty. And I'm sorry I'm not going to be able to link it because I can't figure out where it came from. The package that it came in, I guess I threw it away. But I've had it before. Oh, gracious, that thunder's bad. But I've had that transfer before I even started my YouTube channel. And so this is just a little green stool that I bought at the thrift shop. And I painted it with Dixie Belle Kudzu, which is a really dark green paint. And I think it's so, so pretty. And so what I did was these little transfers are white and gold transfers. And they're shiny. So I think they're real pretty. And so what I'm going to do is I'm thinking about, I will be putting this in my booth. But this could also be something that you could use as a riser to put a Christmas tree on. Or, just to sit around on the hearth and set some little Santas on it that are in the gold metallic. Or you could put all kinds of Christmas things on it and just have it sitting on the hearth. And this green kudzu, what I actually did, I wanted it to be more, have a shiny finish. So I used a shiny gloss polyurethane on it because I want it to be real shiny. And it took a little bit to get all of these pieces on because none of them really matched. They were just like little scraps here and there. And I actually tried to put a transfer on the leg, and then I didn't like it, so I painted over it. And I actually thought about maybe trimming the legs down and making it more of a riser. But last week, I was on a struggle bus, and it seemed like everything I did just wasn't working out. And so I was going to get my husband to cut the legs off. But I told him, I said, honey, if you try to cut those legs off with all the problems I've been having with my projects, that I just don't want one more thing to mess up. So the legs are just a little bit taller for a stool, and it's not for a riser. But you could do something with a riser. But I think the Dixie Belle Green Kudzu is a beautiful green color at Christmas time just because it's so, so dark. And all of these transfers are just really glittery, and they're not too shiny, but they're just shiny enough. And I'm just having to piece them here and there and try to make them look like they all go together. But when I sell it in my booth, people aren't going to look at it and go, oh my goodness, look at her. She really tried to get those transfers to look right. But when they see it, for somebody that doesn't do crafting like we do, they're not going to know. So it's okay. And I didn't do anything to the sides of it. I could have maybe put some molds around it. But remember, last week, it seemed like everything I touched went wrong. In fact, I even asked my husband, I said, honey, is it a full moon? Because nothing was working right. In fact, I told a friend of mine that I was afraid I was going to run out of the house screaming and pulling my hair, and my neighbors were going to think I was crazy because everything was going wrong. So I'm just trying to get this thing finished, and I will put it in my booth. It won't be too much longer because I've already got fall stuff in my booth. And if you have a booth, you've got to have a lot of Christmas stuff ready because last year, my booth, I could not keep it stocked at all. So I am starting early, and I'm going to try to have a lot of stuff built up because I know one day, the first day that I even put stuff in my booth, I sold 15 ornaments, and I'm like, oh, good gracious. And I had to get busy and make some more real quick. So I do not want to be in that situation this year. So I'm going to have a lot of stuff ready. Okay, so here is the final piece. And I do think it turned out pretty. I really like it. But I don't want to keep it at my house because I'm afraid it could be bad luck. Because it reminds me of all the things that went wrong last week. So what do you think? So this is my last project. And we're getting ready to kind of go back over, and I want you to see all the pieces that I put together this week. And I love all of them. I really can't decide this time. Probably the shadow box is my number one thing. And then this little pink one of those little box signs that you can get. So they're not really made out of wood. I don't know what it is. Oh, gracious. That thunder is so bad. So if you're hearing it, I apologize. But since the weather is going to be coming in, they said, to expect to potentially lose power. And I wanted to get this voiceover done on Tuesday night. So, and if you are living in Florida, please know that we're praying for you and praying for your safety. Oh, but look at my little Santa. Oh, gracious. I love those little sad eyes. It's like it's about 3 o'clock in the morning and he's thinking, oh, good gracious, can I not please get these things put in, in down for all the children and stuff. I'm tired. I need to go home, put my feet up. But that's what I thought of when I saw this little Santa in his face. Because he just looks so tired. So tell me in the comments, what's your favorite today? And tell me something. Are you already starting to get ready for Christmas? I already am, because to me it's such a fun time. And I love springtime and summertime, but Christmas is so much fun to decorate. So make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel and become part of our family that is growing super quick. And remember, next Tuesday, 12 o'clock, meet me here on YouTube. And I cannot wait to show you the new IOD holiday collection. Have a great weekend.